shall be ruled by
God. Neither will I let his people go.
You have not obeyed the Lord. This night, the Lord our God will deliver us from the bondage of Egypt.
We take it on at the right time.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
The Honorable Mutahi Kagwe.
Chief Justice Martha Karambuko.
This is KBC, is the voice of Kenya.
Asking the right questions.
I don't know how it made you feel as speaker who is presiding over a house where members can be compromised with 10,000 shillings.
We keep our guests comfortable. A mission to ensure our audience gets a complete story.
For a few hours or so, I thought this is it. My end has come.
If really we want an end of this pandemic, we must fight.
Our goal, to tell it as it is for the benefit of our viewer.
And I'm sure we will have good discussions.
All right.
That will make probably your viewers understand KDF better.
With 21 radio outlets.
During a live interview on KBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General Robert Kibosha.
Jaji mkuu kwa mara ya kwanza katika mahojiano yake ya kipekee na runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
And 2 TV stations covering over 90% of the entire country. The message always gets home. KBC, the home of on-air TV interviews.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. And to kick us off, members of Kenya's newest tribe, the Shona, have begun registering as voters in readying for next year's general election. The group says it is elated by their newfound identity and cannot wait to exercise their democratic right.
The community that was recently recognized as Kenyans will for the first time have their say in Kenya's electoral process.
Nasikia kama saa hii ndio tumepewa uhuru wetu. Sisi sasa ndio kama tumekuwa tukipigania inchi yetu.
This being their very first time to participate in a general election, there are many things that they don't know, and therefore a lot of civic education is being done.
The members of the Shona community began registering as voters in Kiambu County, even as they challenge all eligible Kenyans to enlist as well.
Vitisho ni kwamba hii ni kitambulisho yangu na hii ni kura yangu, na kila mtu angekuwa na yeye kama hii iwe ndio siri yake na Kenya yake.
Meanwhile, a Mombasa ODM party chair Muhammad Khamis has called on youth and women in the county to come out in large numbers and register as voters. Khamis assured party supporters that ODM nominations will be free, fair and credible.
Kila mtu anayetaka kugombania kiti kuanzia ugavana, mbunge, senator, women rep, county rep, hizi nafasi hakuna mtu yoyote aliyowekewa nafasi hizi. Hizi nafasi ni za umma na kila mtu tumkaribisha.
He spoke even as a section of leaders in Makueni urged residents to register as voters.
Na ningetaka pia niuleze viongozi wale wengine wajiunge, wa promote wananchi ili tuongee nao waende pale wajiandikishe ili tuhakikishe kufikia mwaka wa 2022 tutakuwa na the numbers.
The leaders said the current turnout is far from impressive. Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
In other news, Kenya has received a consignment of 504,000 additional doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in yet another boost to the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination campaign in the country. The vaccine doses arrived in Kenya Thursday night through the African Vaccine Acquisition Trust mechanism and were received by officials from the Ministry of Health at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
The Ministry of Health said the latest consignment will go a long way in boosting the ongoing vaccination exercise. Ministry officials have called on Kenyans to get vaccinated, noting there are enough doses. A total of 4,733,770 vaccine doses have so far been administered across the country as of October 20th, 2021. Out of these, 3,416,746 were partially vaccinated, while those fully vaccinated were 1,317,024. The government is working towards vaccinating a targeted adult population of 27,246,033. The additional doses have arrived just 2 weeks after Kenya received a consignment of 252,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which were directly procured by the government. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Lunchtime News.
Still on matters health, Kenya and Uganda have launched a cross-border mass drug administration against blindness causing trachoma. The exercise seeks to synchronize drug administration among the residents of West Pokot and Turkana counties with the neighboring Uganda in an effort to fully eradicate the disease.
The fight against trachoma has received a boost following the launch of a cross-border mass drug administration exercise by Kenya and Uganda. The exercise, which was launched at Amudat district of Uganda, seeks to synchronize drug administration among the residents of West Pokot and Turkana counties with neighboring Uganda. Ugandan State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Dr. Maria Goretti says it will ensure communities living along the common Kenya-Uganda border receive the much-needed treatment.
You see, whenever we do drug administration or where we administer the drug, some of the people miss some of the doses because they are the other side of Kenya, and by the time they come back, so it defeats the effort of us administering this together. But then he told me that we are trying to work together to see that we do it jointly with Kenya.
The head of division of vector-borne and neglected tropical diseases at the Ministry of Health, Wycliffe Omondi, says there was need to employ a multifaceted approach in the fight against the diseases if the region is to comprehensively deal with the trachoma challenge.
So as the endemic countries, we are taking steps to ensure that the sustainable avenue to achieve and maintaining the treatment gains. We don't want to see those rebounds. Today we treat, we move from 6 to 2, and then after 3 years we find that again we've risen above the public health importance. So the role of cross-border cannot be overemphasized in reaching the special groups.
There's no point for us now to really simply focus on one country or one district and so on, but there should be a collaborative partnership that cuts across the regions, the districts, without these artificial boundaries.
This year, the National Trachoma Elimination Program targets to treat over 2.8 million persons across 7 counties of Baringo, Isiolo, Kajiado, Narok, Samburu, Turkana and West Pokot.
We want to eliminate trachoma. We find it's a treatable disease, it can be prevented. So our task as the people from West Pokot, as the ministry, as a government, is to ensure that we also try to prevent this.
In Kenya, trachoma is endemic in 12 counties with a combined population of approximately 11 million people. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Meanwhile, Baringo County Governor Stanley Kiptis has announced plans to promote all county workers in order to motivate the county's human resource. He says promotions are necessary because some of the county workers have stagnated in their current job groups for years.
Speaking during the official opening of a maternity wing at the Kabartonjo Health Center in Baringo County, Governor Kiptis said promotion is one of the best ways of stimulating human resource output.
Wengine walienda kusoma university, wamefika masters na alikuwa certificate. Amekaa hapo hiyo miaka yote. Tutafanya redesignation upate haki yako. Imagine wengine wamekaa miaka 17 bila kupatiwa promotion. Kuna moja juzi tumeona amekaa miaka 21 akiwa grade 1. Ndiposa unaona wengine mnalalamika, mnaangalia wafanye kazi, unaona mtu amelala, hakuna motivation.
The promotions, which will come into effect on 28th October, will be accompanied by an increase in salaries.
A section of leaders in Narrow County has lauded the president, saying his speech during the Mashujaa Day celebrations was a step towards national development. The leaders say the pastoralist community will benefit greatly from the 1.5 million shillings allocated to livestock production by the president.
Speaking separately, the leaders praised the president, saying the money allocated to the livestock sector enhanced production.
Jamii ya Wamasai, tunamshukuru sana kwa sababu ameendelea kutushikilia na ameendelea kutuongoza kwa njia ambayo inafaa. Kwanza kabisa kwa message yake ya Mashujaa Day, alipatiana 1.5 bilioni 1.5 kwa jamii yote ya wafugaji. Na sisi kama Wamasai tunashukuru kwa sababu hizo pesa zitaenda pakubwa kupunguza chakula ya mifugo.
They also rejoiced at the lifting of the curfew.
Tunamshukuru zaidi pia kwa kutoa curfew. Sasa watu wanaweza fanya biashara vizuri na biashara zitaanza kuamuka kwa sababu haswa vijana walikuwa wameumia sana
na kuuza na kulipwa hapo hapo. Sisi kama wafugaji na pia tunashukuru kwa sababu hata ya kuweza kupeleka ng'ombe usiku. Mara nyingi tunaweka ng'ombe gari, tunashindwa kupeleka hata usiku, na jana alipotuondolea curfew tulisherekea na wafugaji wamefurahi, na tunajua serikali hii imejali kila tabaka ya wananchi wake.
They lauded the president's move to allocate funds towards the construction of classrooms.
Sekta ya elimu amepeana 8 billion ambayo itasaidia mambo ya KBC, na ni jambo ambalo limekuwa kwa discussions kwa muda mrefu, na pesa hizi zitasaidia sana haswa walimu na kuboost walimu kwa kazi yao ya KBC.
The leaders further urged the business community to take advantage of the extended business hours to recover the losses but ensure they adhere to COVID protocols.
Watu wafurahie kwa sababu watu wameumia kwa muda, na ningelipenda sana watu wasigatie zile mkataba au zile sheria ambazo zimewekwa na Wizara ya Afya. Na pia tunashukuru president wetu kwa kukubalia watu curfew pia idolewe kwa sababu.
Now, farmers in Mandera County have asked the government to install water canals in Aresa irrigation scheme to boost food security in the area. The farmers called on the government to improve the irrigation scheme, which is the source of livelihood in the drought-stricken area.
Elmi Ibrahim, an agricultural extension officer and head of the irrigation scheme, said that the farmers have not achieved a much yield due to inadequate water supply caused by water shortage, irregular rainfall patterns and poor water management in the area.
Hii scheme ina line moja ya irrigation scheme. Vile mnaona kuna 700 meter canal, concrete canal ambayo county imewajengea. Hiyo line tu ndio sasa huwa wanatumia for irrigation system. Ndio imeleta conjunction ya wakulima. Baka wakaanza kufanya creation mwenyewe. Bambi yao ni moja.
The scheme, which was established by the government along River Dawa in the early 1970s to solve food insecurity, has not yielded bounties as expected. He said out of 360 hectares of irrigation, only 160 are productive. He said farmers have adopted intercropping, which will produce a greater yield in the future. He urged the government to set aside resources for the Aresa irrigation scheme to curb food insecurity and alleviate poverty.
Hii ndio sasa imekuwa mahali ya kusustain mifugo yao pamoja na maisha yao yote. Hii area kidogo unaona ndio wanategemea, wanakimbilia kila asubuhi jioni. Ukoona hii nyasi hata kufanya weeding ni shida.
Naomba serikali ya county na serikali kuu, NGOs utusaidie bamba moto, yani bamba ya kupeleka mahali mbali na canal.
Now from Marty's Agriculture, bar owners in Kiambu County have expressed delight at the government's decision to relax restrictions on the operations of bars. The bar owners say the move will open up the economy, even as they pledge to abide by COVID-19 protocols.
The bar owners, led by the Bar Operators Association Kiambu branch chairman Richard Kagiri, say they hope to recover the losses incurred during the tight restrictions.
Tunamrudishia shukrani za dhati kwa sababu ya kuweza kufungua nchi, na pia tunarudishia Mutahi Kagwe shukrani zetu za dhati kwa sababu ya kufafanua yale ambayo yalisemwa na Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Sisi kama wenye vilabu tumepitia katika shida nyingi, na ninarudishia watu wote ambao wanafanya biashara hii yetu kwa sababu hawakugoma, hawakwenda kwa barabara, lakini walitii na tukaweza kuvumilia.
The association says it will stick to the ministry's guidelines to avoid another possible COVID-19 wave of infections.
Tisha hata wafanyikazi wetu waweze kupigwa chanjo, watu wafanyi biashara waweze kupigwa chanjo, hata hao customers ambao wanakuja kwetu tutafanya hamasisho ili pia waweze kupata chanjo.
Kagwe ameongea, tunashukuru. Hospitality akasema imekuja kukua chini sana, so akatutetea at least tukakuwa tunafunga saa 3. Saa hii nilikuwa nimeachwa na wafanyikazi wawili, sasa naona nitaongeza kama wengine wawili ama watatu.
They however called on police to enforce COVID restrictions within the confines of the law. Yusuf Hilo, Line Time News.
29 pupils at Vaso Primary School in Kulamau area of Isiolo County have been gifted uniforms, face masks and sanitary towels by a philanthropist from the region. Mwenda Thuranera says the donations will go a long way in ensuring learning goes uninterrupted.
Mwenda Thuranera says the true mark of a responsible society is indicated by the manner in which it treats the less privileged. Thuranera urged well-wishers to come together and help improve the standards of learning in the area.
Tunafanya hii mambo wazi ndio waikesaji wengine pia, watu wengine kama mimi wataguswa roho na wakuja wasaidia watoto, sababu at some point serikali yetu imeshindwa na kazi yake.
According to the school head teacher Charles Githaiga, the donation of uniforms to the kids from poor backgrounds will go along in boosting their self-esteem and consequently enable them concentrate better in their studies.
Lakini imbidi tulipomnunulia hizo nguo, saa hii ako sawa kabisa. Hata performance imeenda juu. Kwa hivyo hata hizo uniform ambazo wakikosa performance inaenda chini. So uniform tunashukuru, tunasema ni asante.
Lucy Nguru, a parent at the school, lauded the move by the businessman, acknowledging the fact that most parents were really struggling to provide the basic commodities to their children.
Changamoto kubwa sana kuhusu watoto wetu. Watoto saa zingine unaona mzazi hana shilingi yoyote, inaleta shida hata kwa kukula, mpaka unaona mtoto anaishiwa na manguo, anaenda akiwa anajifunga hata fulana ama kitu kingine kile chochote anafunika ile uchi yake isije ikapatikana.
In other news, the race for the Nakuru gubernatorial seat played out at the county Matatu Association's elections, with factions threatening to split the society into two. Some members say they are in support of Governor Lee Kenyanjui, while others have thrown their weight behind Senator Susan Keheka.
In the recent elections, members perceived to be the Kinyanjuri's die-hard supporters were kicked out of their positions and replaced by Senator Kihika supporters.
Kuliwa nilichakuliwa na wale niko nao hapa ni kuchakuliwa alichakuliwa. Kwa hivyo yetu tunataka ya kwamba tuweze kupatia wale ambao tunaongoza tuweze kuwapatia uongozi mzuri ambao utakuwa na faida kwao.
Central Rift Matatu Owners Association Chairman Stephen Mooley said members had their say and sent home leaders they perceived as unfit to hold office.
Na ule alikuwa Maifais Pana Wambugu aliweza kuondolewa na secretary pia akaweza kuondolewa.
Mooley added that the current office will work with Senator Kihika for the betterment of their welfare. On the other hand, Wilson Kipsang, a board member, accused the former vice chair of frustrating members, saying they opted to kick him out of the post to safeguard their interests.
Poondolewa town, akasunguka nyuma kwa county na akaanza kuitisha members wetu pesa. Alipoanza kuitisha watu pesa, hiyo ndio sababu kuu tulimuondoa yeye.
However, Wambugu in his rebuttal said he does not recognize the office holders, accusing Mooley of working in cahoots with some political leaders to micromanage the association.
Bwana Mooley aliitisha uchaguzi ambayo haukuwa halali. Amekuwa akipanga mkutano kwa hoteli akiwa na watu wachache.
Wambugu and his team boycotted the election, saying he will issue a way forward on their next move over the matter.
And now on matters health, experts say there is a need for a dynamic shift from conventional to organic farming, which they say carries immense health benefits. Director of Resources-Oriented Development Initiatives Kenya, Esther Bett, says the use of conventional synthetic fertilizer, herbicides and sprays introduce dangerous chemicals in the soil and water, which are not only harmful for human consumption but destructive to the natural soil consumption. She was speaking during an organic food exhibition in Ruiru, Kiambu County, which saw stakeholders warn against increasing appetite for making quick cash at the expense of human health.
Kama wewe ni mnunuzi wa chakula, ni vizuri kujua chakula unayonunua imenyunyizwa madawa aina gani, yana madhara kwa mwili yako ama yana madhara kwa mchanga, kwa sababu wanunuaji wakikataa kununua chakula ambayo imezalishwa na madawa, tutawacha kutumia dawa katika nchi yetu.
Tungependekeza counties zote siwe na kupitisha bills ambazo zinaleta policies ambazo ziko na neighboring environment. Kwa extension officers pia wao wakiongea na wakifundisha mambo ya agroecology ama organic farming bila kuwa na wasiwasi, kwa sababu hiyo ni utajiri kwetu. Lakini tunapohimiza ukulima ule wa kawaida, ni utajiri unaenda kwa wengine, mazingira yetu inaharibika zaidi, nasi tunadhoofika hata afya zetu zaidi.
A new concept of serviced apartments is taking shape in Nairobi, with real estate firms investing in the new venture that mainly targets expatriates and the upper middle class segment. COVID-19 led to subdued demand for serviced apartments, with investors now projecting a rebound in demand fueled by vaccinations and reduced containment measures. According to Val, a real estate CEO Majid Saad, serviced apartments also target international and local business travelers. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicate that pre-COVID, serviced apartments commanded high occupancy rates of above 70% compared to hotels in Nairobi at 35.5%, helped by international travelers who stay for more than 2 weeks in the country.
We have shifted a bit of our attention towards the Riverside Drive area. We believe it's the center of Nairobi.
The reason for doing this is because we believe it's more profitable for our investors as per the normal apartments which you would rent out to a long-term tenant.
to take care of police officers who are injured, hospitalized or disabled in the line of duty. NPSC Vice Chairperson Dr. Alice Otwala says the Commission has established that many police officers are living with illnesses and disabilities they sustained in the course of duty. Let's take a look.
The police and other law enforcers put their life on the line on a daily basis as they seek to protect the lives and livelihoods of Kenyans. In so doing, some end up hurt, permanently maimed, and in certain situations, they will pay the ultimate price.
They were recruited when they were strong and able people. But because of their work that is stressful, their work that is normally challenging, in areas such as this, which is Garrison and bandit prone, they find themselves either short or falling sick, and from time to you find that there are officers who then have to live the rest of their lives for things which they found in the course of their work.
The National Police Service Commission, NPSC, is seeking to create a policy to take care of officers injured in the line of duty.
To find out a policy that can address this matter, you need to do an assessment. And we have done this in Nairobi, we have done this in Rift Valley, we have done this in Nyanza, and we are here in Garissa to address this matter.
NPSC Vice Chairperson Dr. Alice Otwala said the Commission as an employer will engage officers on how best to take care of their welfare. Caroline Kamar reporting for...
Still on matters held, the Council of Governors has welcomed the green light by the courts that allows counties to buy drugs and non-pharmaceuticals from other suppliers. The court quashed the law which restricted the devolved units to purchasing the commodities from the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority only. Speaking during a public participation in Lugari Sub-County, Kakamega, Governor Wycliffe Oparanya lauded the move, saying it comes as a reprieve to counties that are facing a persistent shortage of drugs.
Kitu tumefanya kama Council of Governors, tumeenda kotini kwa sababu nchi hii uko uhuru wa kununua kitu unataka kununua mahali popote ambapo bei ni nafuu. So tulienda kotini na kotini mwezi huu imeamua tuko sasa uhuru kununua madawa mahali popote. Tuna wajumbe wengine ambao walishirikiana na private drug suppliers, wale wanapeleka kwa KEMSA. Unajua KEMSA pia inanunua kwa suppliers. Wakaenda huko ndio walileta hiyo sheria. Ndio kwa sababu magavana tulienda kotini. Sasa kuanzia mwezi ujao
Well, and on that note, we'll take a short break. Don't go too far. We'll be back with more news.
"22 deaths in the last 9 months and 19 collapsed buildings. This is the mess in Kenya's construction industry. And the blame game continues. But who will bring the mess to a stop?"
We've learned lessons in the past that were meant to led to the formation of all these agencies. It is now good to follow what these agencies are saying so that things do not go wrong. So my appeal to each and everyone is that let's just ensure we do the right thing and nothing will go wrong.
This week on Inside Government, our conversation revolves around the building code and the enforcement measures. And we are talking to the Executive Director at the National Construction Authority, Engineer Maurice Akech, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Hi, my name is Sharon Obara, Miss World Kenya 2021. Be sure to catch my conversation on KBC Channel 1 alongside the beautiful Shiksha Aurora on Easy Fridays. See you then.
cheza chini chini. It's a Monday, but I'm on a Friday vibe. Tuesday, but I'm on a Friday vibe. Ooh, cheza chini chini. Ooh, cheza chini chini.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Let's talk about the importance of ensuring that you're disciplined, to a healthy lifestyle.
When it comes to diet, they say you are what you eat, and actually that's the truth of it. Because actually whatever you eat, it dictates your nutritional status.
Sometimes you may be very consistent and disciplined, but the results are not coming so fast. What should motivate me to keep going for 6 months, 8 months? I'm still, holding on to this. And most of the time, these foods are not so interesting.
When it comes to weight loss, you're not going away from the foods that you're used to. It is the same food that you're used to, but now you're eating with discipline.
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. Tea prices hit a high of 333 shillings per kilo last week as the government intensified reforms in the subsector. Despite a 9% drop in production, earnings were cushioned by the improved tea prices at KTDA managed factories. Tea production dropped to 55 million kilos in the July-September period compared with 60 million kilos for a similar period last year.
In the last 2 years, the government has carried out major reforms in the tea subsector aimed at improving prices and production. The reforms have seen a total overhaul of Kenya Tea Development Agency, management and shareholding, while the Ministry of Agriculture has set a minimum reserve price of 250 shillings per kilo of tea. KTDA says despite a dip in productions, earnings to farmers have remained high in the last quarter, as the average price of tea reached all-time high of 333 shillings mid this month. The agency says production is expected to improve following the allocation of 1 billion shillings for subsidized fertilizer by the government on Wednesday. During his Mashujaa Day speech, President Uhuru Kenyatta directed National Treasury to allocate tea subsector 1 billion shillings to help procure subsidized fertilizer to be distributed to tea farmers in the country. KTDA says production will further be boosted by Kenya's directive aimed at lowering the cost of tea farming inputs. The tea agency says so far it has imported and distributed a total of 65,000 tons of fertilizer, while an additional 21,000 tons were produced locally to bridge the shortfall between the required volumes and that which was imported. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, on that note, we cross over to Sagret Hotel, where bar owners under National Bar Owners Association will be partnering with the Ministry of Health by offering their spaces as vaccination centers in efforts geared towards shoring uptake of COVID-19 vaccines. The umbrella body has further welcomed government's directive on operations of the entertainment joints. Our reporter Regina Manyara is at a stakeholders meeting currently underway. Regina, kindly bring us to speed.
Good afternoon to you, Wambiru. That is correct. There was a stakeholders meeting here earlier, just trying to put the sector and matters of the directive into perspective. We're coming to you live from the Sagret Hotel, right? And there's been a conversation around how will then the revelers identify which joints are going to be closing doors at 11 p.m. or nightclubs that are going to be operating into the wee hours of the night. To better put this into perspective is none other than Boniface Gashoka, who is the Secretary General of the Bar Owners Association of Kenya. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So from this particular stakeholders meeting here, one question is, how will Wanjiko identify bars or other joints that are going to be operating 24 hours and those who are going to be closing at 11 p.m.?
My name is Boniface Gashoka. I'm the Secretary General of the National Bar Owners Association. According to the licenses that have been issued by the county governments, there's a difference between the bars, the restaurants, and the hotels. So those establishments that opens their businesses from 5 to 11, those are small bars and kegs. The others that operate from 10 to 11, those are restaurants. So there's another category of the clubs that are supposed to open at 3 a.m. And then there is the hotels, which are supposed to go for 24 hours. And I think historically, our customers know which ones are supposed to close at what time.
Now, other than that particular distinction, what is the Bar Association doing to ensure that, we show up capacity in as far as the vaccination against COVID-19 is concerned?
This day, we came here, first of all, to thank the President for giving us an opportunity and the whole government. And on issues to vaccination, we are also saddened by the small percentage of 5% and the low turnout of people who are not going to vaccinate. And that is why today we have offered all our 54,000 hotels, bars and restaurants for free to the Ministry of Health to use them as vaccination centers. And they're free to use any facility they want in our hotel. We are still consulting because we also want to go the Spain way, so that any place, so that we are also going to offer one beer for any other person who's not vaccinated. The purpose and the spirit is the alcohol industry is determined to ensure that vaccination is taken in the highest level possible. Also, one of the things that we've realized from the government is they had a very great worry to reopen us and give us the freedom because of compliance. We are going to invest in training our people, in facilitating compliance, and also we've already started the program. We have the first program, we call it Raising the Bar, where is a training. We are targeting all our employees and the management. We've also started a school. Actually, it's a school where we will be issuing certificates, and it has even a syllabus where we are going to train people on compliance and train people on COVID protocol. So we are determined as an industry to ensure that COVID protocols will be followed to the letter.
What about the issue of social distancing, especially in these nightclubs?
Now, social distancing, I know it was one of the worries of the government, and also is a worry of our customers. You cannot be issued today with a license to operate without fulfilling COVID protocols. Social distance is one of them. And also, even the COVID protocols is well defined because these are protocols that we wrote them, we own them. So these are laws that we gave to ourselves. So you cannot be issued, and that's why we're saying that we are calling on our members not to lower the bar on COVID protocols, because these are things that we've operated. This is the new norm, and this is the culture. Just the same way that Mutudo law came and there were pressing problems. Right now, our members have already accepted that this is a new norm, and that's why we're calling on them that let us not lower the bar.
90,000 jobs were lost during COVID in the entertainment industry. With this new directive, what are your expectations going forward?
Actually, let me correct you. We lost 15,000 bars. We closed 15,000 bars. We lost a manpower of 250,000. And the net worth, the worth that we lost, worth of business is 150 billion. This industry will not recover at once. It will take us 10 years for us to recover. But there is hope. There is a glimpse of hope for the children whom were highly talented, and we relieved them because we had no option. There's a glimpse of hope because with more operational hours, we will admit more into the bar. So what we're telling them is, let them prepare. As we're coming back to business, we'll continue getting them in.
As we are running up to the general elections 2022, does the industry is the industry worried, or what are your sentiments around this time where we are doing campaigns and come the general elections?
The National Bar Association does not engage in any political activities, but the general election is a national issue. So what we're calling on, and this has really been our passionate cry, we're calling on our politicians to be responsible with COVID issues. And also we're calling on Kenyans, if you must attend a political activities, please mask up. Attend it, it is within your constitutional, but please mask up. And also we're calling on our leaders, when they go there, let them talk about compliance to the COVID control. So the other thing that about politics that comes with us, we are welcoming the politicians into our establishments, into our conferences, and also into our drinks. The only thing we are calling is responsible drinking.
Responsible drinking. Well, there you have it, Wambiru there, the Bar Association of Kenya calling on its members to adhere to the laid down COVID protocols there, with the new directive offering a glimpse to an industry was somewhat non-existent in the COVID year that was 2020. I'm Regina Manyara. You're watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News.
Well, thank you so much, Regina Manyara, bringing us to speed on how the bar operators have taken the decision to relax restrictions on the operation of bars. Now, moving on, Sharia Sacco plans to construct a 3 billion shillings office complex in Upper Hill to diversify their asset portfolio. The Sacco says the planned twin tower will host offices, hotels and recreational space, is geared at de-risking its investments offering.
The district of Nairobi has of late become the hottest office and hotel location in Nairobi, with gleaming skyscrapers dotting the once sleepy residential suburb. The area, which has undergone a rapid infrastructure expansion in the last 5 years, is expected to welcome a new client, Sharia Twin Tower. The multi-story office and residential complex is expected to be completed before the year 2025. The national chair of the Sacco, Justice Patrick Kiage, says the residential units will be sold to members at an affordable price as an investment.
We are here as part and parcel of member engagement to ensure that there is public participation in a project that we are set to embark on of developing our new headquarters in Nairobi.
Sharia Sacco Vice Chairperson Roslyn Aburili says the building will be constructed using the current best green practices and ensure the members own the project fully after completion. The venture into real estate is part of the Sacco's plan to diversify their investments and improve their dividends payout. The Sacco, which boasts of 15,000 members currently, has an asset base of 7.1 billion shillings with a loan portfolio of 6.1 billion shillings.
Each one of us as members of Sharia Sacco to be partakers of this project without mortgaging it to somebody else, because that is a threat that we do not want to enter into.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
Moving on, Tata Limited Kenya has partnered with local banks to lower lending rates for procurement of vehicles to potential clients. The vehicle manufacturing company has rolled out a credit facility initiative to empower business people in the transport industry in order for them to own vehicles that will lease their operation.
In the deal, clients are to initially meet the 5% cost of each vehicle, while 95% of the costs will be paid by the banks. For business people who would not meet the requirements, the company will finance them through its alliance subsidiary of up to 80% of the vehicle's total cost. During a sensitization session by the company's sales manager Michael Oroko in Kisii Town, the participants were assured of the value of investment on the affordable but competitive 5-year guarantee credit facility.
As you can be able to see on the banner, up to 95% financing, which is a good thing to customers. So when it comes to in terms of financing, we've got a company called Alliance Finance for those people, for those traders who might not wish to go through the commercial banks. You can always walk into our offices, talk to us, and be able to get financing of up to 80% financing.
According to the manager, the company will initiate a dealership networking in the East African region for ease of access of the products by the consumers. Oraco also disclosed on the opening of a service center by the company in Kisii town, geared towards cutting down maintenance and transportation costs for its products.
And basically, we've been able to take in your feedback about maybe basically bringing a service center in Kisii, something that we will work on and maybe bring it on board as soon as possible.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
Members of the Maasai community have been urged not to sell their land after receiving their title deeds. The community, which neighbors Amboseli National Park in Kajiado South Sub-County, has been urged to embrace tourism as an economic venture by setting up private wildlife sanctuaries, tourist hotels and lodges in their respective lands. The community has been coexisting with wildlife over the years.
A bunch of 700 title deeds to members of Olgulului Olalarashi Group Ranch. Kajiado Governor Joseph Lenku challenged the community to rise up and seize the multiple opportunities from tourism industry. This is considering that most residents reside within the Amboseli Wildlife Circuit.
Tunajua kwa miaka mingi sisi tumekuwa tukiangalia mambo ya utalii na macho hapa Amboseli. Hatuja kuwa na lodges zetu. Hatujaridhika na idadi ya watu wetu wanafanya kazi sehemu hii, na wao kutenga conservancy zao ni kusema jamii ya Maa wanasema tutaingia mbele, mstari wa mbele katika mambo ya hifadhi, katika biashara za kitalii na katika ujenzi wa taifa letu. Hatua hii itapatia community hii nguvu ya kiuchumi.
Tourism will help the community be economically empowered and create employment for young generation. Members who received their title deeds lauded the initiative, saying it was a breakthrough after years of waiting for freedom to use their land.
Na tunawahimiza namna hii, jameni, ukishika title deed yako, iwe ni yako na watoto yako, lakini usiuze. Ninakuomba sana, usiuze.
Over the years, part of the group ranch land used to be leased out to wildlife conservators by group ranches at a mere fee, to the exasperation of members. With the successful subdivision of the group ranch, more than 12,000 members are still expected to receive their title deeds. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Reforestation at Moore Hills in Machakos County went a notch higher with the planting of 1,400 trees. The initiative by the area residents is aimed at conserving Moore Hills, that is a water catchment area for Machakos and its environs. Legend marathoner Douglas Wakihori supported the efforts by leading a 10-kilometer run in the area to raise awareness about conservation.
We are hoping to plant about over 1,000 trees, and this is to give back to the environment that supports us as athletes, and especially runners. We need the trees, we need oxygen, and by doing this, all of us, if we put our energy together, wherever you are, it doesn't have to be here, wherever you are, give one day in your life and plant as many trees as you can.
Israel is set to construct a new onshore pipeline to Egypt in order to boost natural gas exports to its neighbor in the wake of the recent tightening of global supplies. Here are the details of these and other stories from across the African continent.
The pipeline, which will connect the Israeli and Egyptian natural gas grids through the north of the Sinai Peninsula, is estimated to cost around $200 million and could be operational within 24 months. A new onshore pipeline, coupled with plans to construct a second subsea pipeline to Egypt within a few years, will further cement Israeli position as a key energy hub in the eastern Mediterranean, which has upended diplomatic relations with countries in recent years. Meanwhile, the value of Rwanda's exports to the African continent is expected to triple in 10 years after taking part in the African Continental Free Trade Area, one of the world's largest free trade zones. The African Continental Free Trade Area is expected to promote industrialization and competitiveness, as well as create millions of jobs across the continent. It is also hoped that it will unleash regional value chains that could facilitate Africa's meaningful integration into the global economy. Finally, demand for Ugandan coffee in Italy has helped increase exports of the beans to the highest in at least 30 years. Uganda overtook Vietnam to become the second largest supplier of coffee to Italy for the first time this year, behind Brazil. Total shipments jumped from 21% to 6.5 million kilograms bags in the year through September. Italy and Germany, which together produce more than 60% of the European Union's roasted coffee, has diversified their sources for the beans, with Brazil and Vietnam having had trouble exporting amid shipping disruptions. European buyers increased uptake from growers, including Uganda and India.
More than 2,000 Amazon warehouse workers in New York City hope to hold a vote to unionize in the latest labor push at the firm. The workers from 4 Amazon sites in Staten Island want higher wages, safer working conditions and longer breaks. Here are the details of these and others from across the globe.
Amazon is the second organizing online shopping giant this year and comes amid a pickup in union activity across the U.S. Amazon Labor Union announced that it will file a petition to the National Labor Relations Board inquiring to formally allow a vote. So far, more than 2,000 workers have signed the petition. Workers are also demanding Amazon to stop their union-busting practices and allow workers to use their rights to organize towards collective bargaining without interference. Meanwhile, electric car maker Tesla has brushed off supply chain issues and the global microchip shortage to report record quarterly sales and profits. Tesla has achieved the best ever net income, operating profit and gross profit. The firm stated that China remained its main exporting hub and plans to roll out a different type of battery in its standard vehicle worldwide. Analysts stated that the new lithium iron phosphate batteries are cheaper than traditional batteries and offer a lower range. Finally, China's trade policies have come under strong criticism during a review at the World Trade Organization. The U.S. accused China of skewing the playing field by using unfair trade practices such as preferential treatment of state businesses. Meanwhile, Australia said the country's behavior was inconsistent at the WTO review in Geneva. Australia said China had benefited significantly since it's joined the WTO, but argued it was not acting fairly. In the past 18 months, China has imposed restrictions on many Australian exports, including barley, coal, sugar, wine and beef.
And now on matters sports, the national boxing team hit squad left the country last night ahead of the World Boxing Championship in Belgrade, Serbia. The global showpiece is slated for October 23rd to November 6th.
The Kenyan boxers will be aiming to redeem themselves after a poor run in their last global outing at the Tokyo Olympics. The Kenyan contingent will be led by 2015 Africa Boxing Championship lightweight gold medalist Nico Koth and Africa Zone 3 super heavyweight gold medalist Eli Ajoy, bantamweight Shafi Bakari, featherweight Martin Odur, light welterweight Victor Odhiambo, welterweight Joseph Shigali, and light middleweight Boniface Mugude are also in the Kenyan team.
champion lazima ushinde champions. So tunatarajia tuko tayari kwa mashindano ambayo tutapata. No respect for reputations. Tutakuwa tayari kuwakilisha nchi yetu kwa njia inayofaa.
Martin Maina will be the only boxer making his debut in the Kenyan team. The Kenyan squad to Belgrade has 13 boxers.
Kenya's Joyce Ndirango maintained her lead on tie break in the women's section at the ongoing